Okay, this is how to make your actual using the machine. And we've got an older machine, probably from, it looks like it's from the 60s. It's green and white. It's pretty cool. It's pretty old. It's not the old wood barrel kind. It's literally like styrofoam and plastic. So it works excellent. But you've got your canister here. And for custard base or anything with cream in it, you only want to fill it about 3/4 of the way full because it will expand as it gets cold. Now this is the vanilla ice cream that we've made. We're also probably going to make, you can make banana ice cream, which is a fruit-based ice cream. If you wanted to add cookies, or if you wanted to add like peppermint ice cream to this, anything like that, what you do is you go ahead and put the vanilla into the canister, let it mix about 30 minutes, 20 or 30 minutes, and then after that time, put your candy in there, turn it off, open it up, put your candy in there, and then let it mix for another 10 or 15 minutes to let the candy get all mixed in there, or cookies or whatever. Because if you put it in right now, it'll get soggy, and you don't want that. So I'm going to pour this in here, and I'll probably end up making a little bit of a mess. And you see that was pretty much the perfect amount there. You see it, there's the line where our flapper is going to be at, and I'll put the mixer paddle is going to be, and that's about 3/4 of the way up. So this thing just slides in there. And there's a little dent in the bottom of it that sits in there. And then this lid just sits on top of there. And if it doesn't go all the way down, just kind of turn it a little bit, it'll go on there. And then now I'm going to get the actual ice cream container ready. Okay, first thing you want to do is take your ice cream container and put it into here, and be careful not to drop it. And it fits right in the middle, and it should turn pretty freely. Notice I've got my drain pipe coming out, and now I'll drain it into this empty garbage can here so I won't run all over my deck. It is going to be salt water. So I'm going to put that there. My motor, goes on like that, and that handle locks it in place so it won't move. You plug it in, and let it run for about 2 minutes. What that's going to do is that's going to help stir it all up. What you couldn't do with the spoon, it's going to turn. You see the bucket's actually spinning. The paddle that's inside is actually staying still. So as it's turning that bucket, it's moving that liquid around in there and stirring it all up. Now I've got a little piece of wood here. It's just a very thin piece of wood. I'm going to put that in the back so it'll tilt a little bit on this side. Because what we're going to do is we've got ice cream salt, rock salt, any kind of salt. They didn't have any rock salt at Walmart, honestly. So we got just regular ice cream salt and ice, and we're going to layer ice and salt on here. And as it melts, you want it to be able to drain out. So if you tilt it forward a little bit, all the water will run in here. You don't want you don't want the salt water to go back into your ice cream. That makes some awful ice cream. So I'm going to let that sit for a few minutes, then we'll start packing ice in. Okay, I got my ice, and it's still running. And I'm just going to put a layer of ice on the bottom. Then take a layer of salt. And you can see it's a pretty big rock salt. And then we'll put more ice. the more ice, the more salt, and layer it up like that until it gets to the top part of the metal can. And this is the last layer of ice in here. And you can see it's pretty much right up to the metal can. And I'll put a little bit more salt on top, not a lot. And you'll have to add, as this melts, you'll have to add more ice. You really won't have to add a lot more salt, maybe a little bit on top. But as it melts, you'll have to add more ice to keep it up a little bit. And this was a 7-pound bag of ice that I used, and I pretty much, actually now that it's settled down, I'll probably use the rest of it on here. I'll probably use another half a bag of this. We'll see when it gets done. It really depends on how hot it is outside and how much ice you use. One other thing you need is just a regular wooden pencil, because when this tube gets clogged up, once the ice starts melting, water will start coming out of here. It'll get salt and chunks of ice in there, so you just kind of take your pencil and kind of shove back in there and break the hole up. You can do it for either side. I use the eraser side just so it won't marks all over my thing, but if you just kind of shove it in there and loosen it up, then the water will come out better. So always have a pencil ready to knock the tube loose. Starting to slow down. The motor is starting to get a little deeper. The can, you can kind of hear it going slower. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to unplug it. And sometimes it'll actually stop. It'll like stop and jam up. If it does that, that means it's done too. But unplug it. And I'm going to leave the handle back and keep this on here. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to tilt it forward a little bit. And let that water drain out very slowly. Make sure you don't tilt it too far to where the water runs into your metal can, because you really don't want salt water in your ice cream. That would be disgusting. Tragic. You'll ruin the whole thing of ice cream. I'm going to pull the motor off. I've got all the water drained down. And I'm going to pull this motor off. And if you wanted it, right now it's not really ready to eat. It has to be cured or hardened. It has to ripen. You could either drain the water off like I just did and put a towel around this. Like you could take a thicker towel than this, but kind of wrap it around here and seal in the cold and let it sit for about an hour and a half right here. What we're going to do is we're going to do it in the freezer. So I'm going to pull this out, put it on this just so it won't get drippy all over the floor. And we're going to take it inside and scoop it out into a bowl and put it in the freezer, and it'll ripen that way. If you wanted to, once I take this out, which I'll just do right now. Okay. If you look in here, there's still a lot of ice water in here. What you could do is if you wanted to make another batch, like you had another batch made up, it's too late for us to do it tonight. You could take this and pour it into a bucket or a cooler or something. Take that out and clean it out, and then put your other set of ice cream in there and just take this and pour it right back around there so you're not wasting it. For us, I hate to say it, we're just going to have to waste it. So I'm going to take this inside, and then we'll show you how you put it in the bowl and what it looks like.